So I'm going to be doing a animation demo using the Goon character that you have been using and the soundtrack. Where's my JellyBean?
Where's my JellyBean? Hey, there's my JellyBean.
So as you can see here, I've already done the lip sync for the Goon character and just some basic animation. I just did a little bit of I didn't do anything really big and broad. I just did some basic shifting of weight and some gesturing.
Where's my JellyBean? Hey, there's my JellyBean.
Put in a couple of blinks in there, here and there, and just kind of kept it simple. But definitely I can go on further from here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of go through the process step by step, how I would go about doing some character animation. The first thing that I did is I have his you can see I have his control curves visible selected, so I can select them. I've also got his facial curves selectable and visible too. And what I went and did, I believe that the Goon character comes in with the controls. You can turn the controls on and off, but I also selected the facial controls, just his brows, his eyes, these cheek controls here, and of course his jaw, which controls his jaw here, and I put it in a separate layer here, a display layer, so I can turn them off. Because basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing the lip sync and the body motion separately. Also what I did is I created a shelf up here. I called it Goon Rig. And I do this usually for every rig that I get. If the rig doesn't come with a shelf and comes with some of the functions that I want, I just make one myself. And I have two mel buttons that I made. I'm going to turn the display on. I have a select all just the face, and I have a select all of the rest of the body controls without the face. So I can select all just the body and select all just the face separately. I don't want keyframes for my lip sync to be conflicting and having the same keyframes as the body. That is generally how animators go about doing a character. You can find another way, but this is a good procedure. Again, the way that I created the mel button, if I wanted to do a select all, I'm going to open up the script editor. You can open up the script editor down here in the lower right, and as you can see, it opens up and it just gives you a list of functions. So if I select something and it says I selected that and I cleared. So I'm going to start with a clear. I select something and I click somewhere outside and I clear it, and I go through, and well, first of all, let's turn off the make it easy, let's turn off the display of the geometry. And I just go through and I select all of the curves carefully. You don't want to skip any, one at a time. I'm not going to do all of them, but you just have to go through and select the curves all the way and just be methodical and make sure that you get all of them. So I have a little system. And when you get to this one, it's going to, it's in the hierarchy, so it's going to select all of those curves, and you go all the way to the top, and you select all those curves. I'm going to turn off the face so I don't select those. And once you've gone up and selected all of them, let's just kind of go through. I might not have selected them, I'm just going fast. I have here in my script editor all of those selections. So I scroll up to that point where I cleared it, and it's going to go select clear, and I drag and I select all of those functions. I middle mouse drag it into the shelf area. It's going to say what kind of script. I'm going to say mail script, and it creates a button, select all button for me. I can then go into here, there's a little triangle, and go open up the shelf editor, and I pick that function, and then I can name that icon. So I can call it select all or whatever, save all shelves, and it'll save that select all shelf. I'm going to go back into the shelf editor, and I'm going to get rid of that because I've already made one and I don't need another button up here. And now I'm ready to go. So I'm just going to explain before I go and I show you my procedure. I'm just going to show you a little bit about what I have done. I'm going to show you the lip sync of the face first. And you can see here in the timeline, these are all the keyframes, and I like to select all of I like to select all of the curves, keeping them consistent. You can go through and you can delete some if they're not, some of those keyframes aren't working for you. Let's get in a little closer so we can see a little better, like that. And I'm just going to show you the lip sync. One thing I did is I did some anticipation for him, and he's going to kind of come down and he's going to blink his eyes before he does the sound, and as you can see, he starts the sound before the sound actually happens. And you can see by this little waveform that happens in the timeline where the sound is actually happening. So he's saying, "Where's my jelly bean?" So just looking at that one line there, he's going to go woo. So what I did is I grabbed his jaw here, and I start by just, you know, making that shape. He's going to open up his mouth a little bit. In the jaw control, he also has some mouth controls here. These are some lip controls. This is the upper lip curl, which kind of gives him some lip shape. The lower lip curl, like that. These are the up and down for the upper lip. So I can move the upper lip. I have grabbed all three of them. You can grab them individually. Give him like a little snarl. And I mostly use the lower lip to kind of open up his lower lip. I also have teeth control here. So these are his lower teeth, so I can move his lower teeth up and down. I can also move his upper teeth. You have to be careful because if you think about your skull, if you think about how you talk, your upper teeth stay attached to your skull, and they don't move up and down necessarily. So these are just a basic positioning, so I can position those. I don't usually animate the upper teeth up or down. I just get them in a good position and I leave them there. So here's a Z. He's saying S. The thing about why his S is closed down and I haven't opened up his lips up so much is that he's going to an M. Where's M? Where's M? So you can see here, so I'm just looking at the sound and I'm finding a good mouth shape and I'm hitting that sound. You don't have to hit every sound. You want to hit the really distinctive strong sounds and then kind of adjust all those little motions in between. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to go and open up a scene that doesn't have animation. I've already have it set up though, with my mail button and my controls here, my display. And I'm just going to start with the lip sync. So I'm going to just show you this first line. I'm not going to do the whole line. Most people like to do the lip sync first. Some people, it depends on the animator. Some animators like to do the body motion first and then do the lip sync. I find that kind of hard because the body moves around and I have to always kind of look around and see where the body moves around and I have to look at the mouse, so I'm constantly moving around. So I tend to like to do the lip sync first. Doing the lip sync after the body motion sometimes is a good way to, you can play to the camera a little better, but it's up to you. So I'm going to do the lip sync first. And I'm going to start by selecting the face. We have the face selected, and I am going to just keyframe all of these positions. So I'm going to go to the first one. First of all, I'm going to give him another position. His mouth looks a little kind of tight. It doesn't look very natural to me. And I'm going to start by grabbing his jaw and give his mouth just a little bit of shape here. I'm going to give it an upper lip curl and then a lower lip curl, and then I can also maybe start with one of these here. Give it a little bit of, he's got a little bit of an asymmetrical smile, and I'm going to keyframe that. I'm going to give it the face. I'm going to select all on the face there. I can also use the auto key. The thing about the auto key, if you've used it before, what auto key does is every time you move something, let's just turn it on. Let's just say I move his cheek here. It's going to key it every time I move it, but it doesn't key everything else. So I do have to be careful and go make sure that I take the face, select all, and select all of the face. So I tend not to use auto key too much. I do use it from time to time. But for this, I'm just going to keyframe it by pressing the S hotkey. So one thing you want to anticipate sounds. He's going to go, "Where's my jelly bean?" So he doesn't say it doesn't snap to the woo sound right on frame 15 like you would think. He's going to start a little bit ahead. So I'm going to go to frame 10. And I'm going to start his woo sound. So I'm going to start by, and I like to rotate the jaw instead of move the jaw. And I'm going to go in here and move this in a little bit. Let's move that in like that. And let's select all face and select all. Keyframe it there. Okay, that's pretty good. Now I'm going to continue it a little bit. I'm going to go to frame 15 and I'm going to just give it a little bit more. Select all face, keyframe it. And then I'm going to go to the next sound that I'm thinking that he needs to make, which is airs.